Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today I'm coming to you with a really interesting keyboard. Now this, we have to thank TickType. So TickType is actually creators of the Evo 75, and they're coming out with a DP104. Now this is a full-size keyboard, and you can see right here from the case, which they actually provide a carrying case. This is awesome. It's a large board. We're gonna have to really see how this, stands up. How is it in terms of like the switches? They have two different versions. I have all the switches, so I'll make sure to give you guys a sound test. And of course, we're gonna even try doing a foamless to see how is it compared to like when we did the Evo 75, which really was not good for a foamless build. So let's go right into it, do the unboxing, but please make sure to like and subscribe and come join the Discord because I'd love to see, what you guys' thoughts are or any questions you have and get to know you. So let's go right into it. So now starting off with the unboxing of the TickType DP104. Now, thank you again, TickType, for sending me this out. So as you can see here, you get a carrying case. This is a really awesome one. It's perfect because this thing is a big board. And if you wanted to carry around, I get it. It's a full-size board. You might not want to carry it, but it's really cool. Now, they do provide some extra pieces. They also give you cables. They also provide you like the extra gasket, like mountings. So specifically just help with the dampening. You have a USB dongle separate, which is, I'm kind of surprised because this is a big board. I really think they could have had a spot to have the USB dongle. So I'm gonna be honest, that's a little bit of a miss. Now you do get extra switches, which is really cool. Of course, you get like a manual warranty card. You have a braided cable, which is awesome. It's a USB 3.0 to USB-C though, so no USB-C to C. You do get extra keycaps, which is really cool. Now we're gonna have to really open up the board and like see what it's like. But I gotta admit, this design looks really nice. Like when I first looked at the photos, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of thought that, you know what, it's gonna be just like an aluminum board, gray, and kind of that's it. And I didn't think it'd be that much fun, but no, when you actually receive it in person and you look at it, it's quite a lot of fun. What they did with it, the whole design of it, I gotta say, great job to TickType in designing this board. I actually really appreciated the whole thing. Now, I did get the silent switches, but I also have rice switches, so we'll look into doing all the sound tests. But before we go into it, this thing is going to weigh 2.2 kg. So we did the sound tests. I gave you guys a clacky switch, I gave you guys a rise switch, and I did the original switch that I got with this, which is the TTC Cloud Silent Tactile. Now, as you can see here, it's a quick release board, which is really awesome. I really like the whole build of this. It feels really sturdy. Now, one thing that's interesting is, actually, I'm not sure where the screw came from. So that's something that was really weird. I'm not sure where it came from. Maybe something I was working on, but can't remember. So one thing that was kind of weird is how the plate is kind of on there. These are plate mounted stabilizers, and as you can see, it's the gasket mount. Overall, this thing is a PP plate, and there is no flex cuts, which is really cool. Now the stabilizers, as I mentioned, is plate mounted, and unfortunately no screw-ins, which is not the greatest. Overall, the lubing, I think they did a decent job, but I still heard some ticking, so not the perfect lubing in terms of these stabilizers. I think we're going to have to modify a little bit of them. Not too much, but I definitely heard some ticking, even though they are pretty decently lubed. Now, they have this little connecting point there, so that was kind of interesting. The whole plate and everything was like kind of stuck together, and I was wondering why, and you'll see later the reason and what it's for. The back of the PCB is flex cut, which is kind of unfortunate. Honestly, it's not something that, you know, I would love to see, but it is how it is. There's 3 layers inside between the plate and the PCB, so you get like a plastic sheet, you have the PT like sheet, and then you have the foam, the pour-on foam. The plate itself and the PCB is different measurements. So the plate is 1.5 millimeters, non-flex cut, yet the PCB is flex cut, and it's going to be like the 1.2 millimeters. So kind of surprised why they went this route instead of just going both 1.5, 1.5. I think that would have been nice, non-flex cut for this board, because it's already like really packed up with a lot of stuff, and you're not getting a ton of flex. So it would have been nice if they did that. I get that with like the butterfly springs, you might get that kind of flex, but you get the bounce anyways. So going non-flex cut with the bounce would have been a bit nicer. Now, I wanted to give you guys kind of 2 angles while I'm taking it apart, but we're gonna have to really see like underneath the case as well. So I'm gonna actually open it up and see what's underneath that weight, because I'm curious, like, what kind of thing did they do underneath, and of course show you guys the battery size of this board as well. So let's fully open it up and take a look. So as you can see there, the plate underneath, like the weight plate, comes off, and it's actually designed on its own. So it's actually a mirror design on top with like another metal sheet on top, which is really cool. You have the prong connections, so magnetic connections on the bottom. You have a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, 2 of them, so that's total 8,000 milliamp hour batteries. And then you have a daughter board that's actually on the flat on the bottom. They made a long daughter board which connects that way, so very interesting how it's done. Instead of like your usual daughter board, this one's actually like on the back, and it's long, and it's connecting it to the bottom case as well, and it's so that you can actually get the portion right here. So this portion is actually for the screen that has like the pixelated art and stuff. You need it to connect to the PCB, to the top case where the screen is, and also to get the information to the board itself, so everything works together. So that's how they did it. Now you can actually remove like the thing that's keeping it together, so it's a little protection point. I'm actually really glad they did this, even though it's a bit tough to like take everything apart. I'm really happy that they put a protecting case around it, because this allows your cable to really stay protected, and you know, nothing moving, no moving parts, which is really cool. But you can also take it off and replace it. So overall, really cool what they did with this whole kind of mechanics and engineering. Now, of course, I want to give you guys a full foamless sound test with these switches. So let's do that. So we did the foamless sound test, and honestly, it's not bad. So compared to like what the Evo 75 was, this is not as bad in terms of the foamless sound test. The only thing though, it sounds kind of empty. Like it sounds really light sounding. So that's something we're gonna try modding it now. So we're gonna do 1-layer tape mod. I think that's gonna be enough because you don't have a lot of space available, and this is kind of thin in terms of like the spacing in between. And then of course we're gonna mod the spacebar. So we're gonna do a little bit of tape in the spacebar, just 1 layer. I want to help the spacebar just a little bit, even though the spacebar already is quite good. I just want to do a little bit, and of course also add some loop into the stabilizers as well. So that's what we're gonna mod, and then I'm gonna give you guys a sound comparison with the stock rise switches, well, I mean looped, and then the modded. So let's do that. So I have in my hands right here the full large size DP104, and I gotta say, this thing is heavy and this thing is big. Now, as you can see, the lighting up right there in the top left and some of the infos, it's really cool. I actually really appreciate what they're doing with this. It's actually pretty interesting with what you can do and like all the different stuff and things that you can actually put on this board. I found it really interesting. Like, this board is quite nice. The design of it, ooh, I gotta admit, this is a really nice board. I'm really liking it. I've been using this quite a lot lately, and it's really been like catching my eyes and my attention with how I'm liking to type it. Now, overall, I think in terms of the actual switch feel, even with the same switches, like the rise switch, this feels a lot better to type on than the Evo 75. Now, why is that? That's because the Evo 75 had a bit of a mushiness and it's too foamed up. Like, it really sounds like it's way too foamy. Even when you start removing foams inside, it actually gets like really, very, very like thocky, creamy sounding. Now, that's perfect build for someone to want to make like their thockiest board ever. The Evo 75 would probably be the best choice. This board actually evens out the sound a lot more and evens out the typing feel. Less foamy sound, which is awesome. I really appreciate what they did. I think they did a great job with the full size. Like, it's really nice. But of course, we're gonna have to really go in depth more, take a look of this board and see how it is. And of course, take a look to see the pricing and more. So let's go right into that. So what do I have to say about the design of this board? It's really, really nice. Like, I wasn't expecting much, but they did a great job. Like, with the aluminum, it's really great. It doesn't have that kind of like empty pinging sound from the aluminum. They did a really nice CNC finish. Like, it's super smooth around. You can really see it even on the camera how smooth it is. And overall, the quality of this board is much more surprising than I thought. I honestly wasn't expecting something like this. Now, the back of the board is going to get a lot of fingerprints. I'm just going to be honest with you. Luckily, it's not like a really dark color so that you can really see the fingerprints. But you can even see right there. The mirror underneath like the metal plate there, it does collect a lot of like fingerprints and different things. So it can get dirty very easily. but of course you can clean it off, and luckily it's not like the whole back and only like the portions that are showing behind the plate. So overall, they really did put a lot of work into this, I think, and I appreciated it quite a bit. I'm not a like full-size person, but I still like this. Now, the tactile switches that I had with silence actually felt really nice. It provided a feel almost like I was typing on EC switches, that kind of tactility to it, and I actually really liked it. And if you're someone that works in the office, of course, you know, having something silent is great, where you can actually use it and you're not going to bother people around you. I do like how they did the quick release. It's actually really nice with the ball catch bearings, and it's quite smooth, and it doesn't have like any ticking to it, which is awesome. One thing though is if you are trying to do foamless build with this thing, you're not gonna have the greatest time, unfortunately. It's okay, but it's gonna sound very light and empty in a way. Maybe like, how should I explain it more? Like feathery. Now the screen on the top right, I honestly thought it was gonna be a gimmick. You know, I've used a lot of boards with like screens on them, and a lot of the times the screens haven't been that great. What they did with this one was really cool because it's pixelated, so you're not expecting like something crazy, right? You're not thinking like an OLED screen or what a lot of the keyboards that they have been using. And instead of GIFs and things like that, you're actually just getting really cool pixelated art. And you know what the cool thing about this audio thing is? It actually reacts to audio. I thought that was super cool. So I'm not sure where the mic is, but there's something that's catching the sound so that you can actually see it move like that, which is cool. And then you can also put in your own words in there. So I've put in like some random words that I thought would be cool. And of course, I wanted to also put in my YouTube channel name in there, so you can see there Mikey types, and it actually comes through, and they have the stock like TickType written on there as well. So really cool that you can customize it, which I'll show you in the software section. And yeah, I mean, really awesome stuff that they did. I'm very, very appreciative of this whole design. It really does provide like a retro feel in terms of the colorway, and but the feel of the switches and everything is just so different. Now, the switches that you get with this thing is going to be two different versions. You can get the Bison Rye, or you can get the TTC Cloud Silent Tactile. I'm surprised they didn't do like the clacky, like the Evo 75, but they went with the silent, which is actually, I really appreciate it. I like this tactile. The silent tactile really felt great to type on for me personally. It is very light though, so it is going to be a light switch. The Rye switches in this one I think sounded a lot better than the Evo 75. The Evo 75 for me just sounded too foamed up, and I think I'm starting to go away from a lot of the Thocky sounding switches. I'm starting to actually lean more towards like clacky switches, but I still appreciate my silence, and this TTC sounded really great for it. The clacky switches do sound a lot clackier in this board compared to the Evo 75, which I think was just really foamed up, and this one just has that niceness. But if you do go like foamless with the clacky switch, I think you will still get a decent sound. It's just not going to be as nice, you know, as other custom boards out there. Now, I will have to probably try some custom full sizes, but to really actually tell and see like how it compares. But overall, I liked how they did this design with the case. The case itself kind of like really matches, almost like really like a case that I would carry for a Nintendo. Honestly, like I think it kind of reminds me of like my Nintendo Switch case, and it's a hard case, which is nice. You have like a compartment to put things in, so cable, other things like that you'd want to carry, and it's pretty big, so you can actually carry like earphones and other stuff in there, which is awesome. But I have to be honest, this is a full size. It's very large, so carrying it is kind of a pain, and I've tried to carry it to work. Trust me, it is a bit of a pain, but not too bad. And now going to the lighting test. So one thing I'm going to be honest on in terms of lighting is it's not very bright. So it's decently bright, but compared to a lot of the other boards that I've tried out there, from pre-built to like Apple Maker boards, this isn't going to be that bright. Now that lighting right there, and it's right above the arrow key and underneath like the delete and stuff, I honestly think that doesn't really do much because you can't really see the lighting. Because the lighting's facing upwards, you can't really see it. And yeah, I think that portion there, honestly, they should have done a little bit better, because honestly, you can't see anything. The light's not really visible at all there. Even if you change it to something, trust me, you're not going to see it. Now going into the website and taking a look. So we're looking at the DP104. I got the gray version, which I actually really like it. It has a nice retro look to it. It is 199 USD, so it's not a cheap board. To be honest, 200 USD is not going to be very cheap for pre-built, but at the same time, it's not super expensive in my mind for what you're paying, like what you're getting with this board. You get really cool stuff with it, right? This thing is going to be like the 8,000 milliamp hour battery, and I think this is supposed to have quick charging too, which is really cool. It's really nice overall with like the 2 different switches. I think they could have added 1 more switch. I was trying to see where on the site like they provided the 15-watt charging option or like the information, but this is supposed to have like faster charging with the board. Now, of course, going into the software portion, so they actually have a web app with VIA. You're gonna have to use the link that's actually up there. I'm gonna put it in the descriptions so you can actually go there and use it for yourselves. This is really great, but one thing is though, you can't use the same stuff like the matrix and things in the regular VIA for like your computer. So if you have downloaded software, unfortunately the JSON file won't allow you to use them. You can only use the matrix and changing the pixel lighting and stuff in VIA web app. And you do get some really cool backlighting options. So that's going to be the backlighting section. The underglow is actually going to be where the lighting for above the arrow key is. But as I said, I've tried changing it. I've tried doing like different things to see what could be possible. But going to be honest, you don't see it at all. It really is unfortunate. They could have done something different maybe with that section. But unfortunately, you just can't see it. It's really dark. Even when you turn off the lights, it's almost hard to see, or like very, very difficult to see because it's facing upwards and you're not looking at it at all. Now, this is what I meant with the matrix. You can actually draw custom stuff. You can draw like pixel art in there, and you can actually save it into the keyboard and it will save, and you can run it in the custom section and it'll actually show you what you drew. This is a really simple, easy way to make a screen work, and it's so well done. Because it's so simple, I actually really appreciated it a lot more because I could use it. A lot of times when I'm trying pre-built boards with like the GIFs and the different screens, the reason why I don't do it is because it gets complicated. To be fair, it's not going to be complicated for some other people. It's complicated just to me. I'm not very technologically friendly at times, so that's something I've definitely felt for. This one was just easy to use. Another cool thing, you get SOCD. I didn't know that you could do this, and it's really cool that you can actually use SOCD in here. And let me show you how to set it up. So all you have to do is click on it and then type in the letter A, or like whichever key you want to use it for, and then you just set it up like that. Now let's go into a game to really test it out. So first thing I'm gonna do is show you guys without it. So without it, as you can see here, when you press like D or A and then you press D after, it's gonna stop. So moving right, you press D to A and then it's gonna stop. Then you press A to D and you'll stop. Then we turn it back on. And as you can see right there, you actually can do holding A and then you press D and then it'll hold that. So I'm just constantly pressing holding it, and you can do what SOCD can do, which is going to be like doing the last input one, and it works completely fine. So of course I'm not good at this because I don't play FPS games that require it. But yeah, it's really cool that you can actually do it with this board. I've seen it happen with the Newfie boards too, and I'm really glad that they also implemented in this one. So they really are showing that this is meant for also people that enjoy playing video games. Now, of course, we're gonna have to try Keyboard Inspector. Just make sure the polling rate and what it could be, and it's 1,000 hertz. So it's more than enough for gaming, but it's not gonna be like your 8K gaming keyboards out there. It's not gonna be like Hall Effect, but at least you get the bare minimum that's gonna be needed to play video games, and that should be enough. I will have the links in the description for you guys to go check it out. You know, TickType seems to have really been working on this, and I'm really appreciating what they built for a full-size board. So final thoughts. I think the DP104 is a really nice full size. Now, if you're looking for a full size that's pre-built and has like both a really nice silent switch, the silent switch was awesome. As I mentioned, it kind of feels like an EC switch, and that's something I personally really enjoy because I love EC switches. I love typing on them. I love Topre. Topre is like a dream board that I really want to own, which hopefully I will very soon. I think they did a great job with this one. Like the overall sound and feel of it, it's really nice. Now, it is kind of pricey, but when you consider the price, like the cost that it would have done to build this board for them and the overall build quality, yeah, no, I think it's justifiable. This is a really nice board. I might actually be using this a lot more. This might become one of the main boards that I use at my desk. Honestly, it's big, and I'm not a huge fan of having full-size big boards on my desk. This has been probably one of the first ones that I've actually like kept using. So really cool stuff. I'll have the links in the description for you guys. Go check out TickType. They're really cool with all the things that they're making, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to come up with next. So go check it out yourselves. Go check out the other videos I got, and I'll catch you guys next time.